Scotland and the Springboks, folks, 15 points to 30. It is a good away win for the men from South Africa. Just started my day with this game over some breakfast, much after the piece, because it was on at 2 in the morning over here in NZ. But yeah, good way to start my day. 4 tries, some kicks, some magic, and yeah, we'll go over the key events, the stats. You guys can let me know your thoughts on the game. Scotland were in white, which was a bit different, but I guess they got to sell those alternate jerseys one way or another. I don't think Scotland has many jersey clashes, so yeah, just wear the white kit, I guess. It looked alright, but I'm sure there are studies that say performing or playing in an alternate kit, if you don't do it very often, lowers your performance levels because like the instinctive seeing the colour that you're used to seeing is not there, but I could be wrong. Anyway, it didn't seem to matter. It was all South Africa early, man. It was like watching an arm wrestle. If you've seen people arm wrestling, like literally arm wrestling, where the one person's dominant and they can almost get them down to the table, and then at the last moment, the person finds like a second wind or a third wind and gets back up. That's what it was like, man, because it was all South Africa in the first 15 minutes, wasn't it? Scrum penalties. Scotland conceded a line-out penalty, but then like they would go for touch. South Africa, Skinner disrupted one, and like Richie won a turnover. Like they were under the pump at times, but they just kept managing to find a way to get out of it. And sometimes South Africa are a wee bit guilty of being a bit slow at the back of a ruck and stuff. So yeah, it was a bit of an arm wrestle of the first 15 minutes. Scotland didn't have a lot of chances, and South Africa's scrum was looking ominous because it kept winning penalties. That being said, the first points of the game actually went to Scotland from their own 22 when they got more turnover ball. I think it was Russell chucked it to Duan van der Merwe and pretty much on his own goal line, and the dude trucks it up to about halfway, and then Creel makes a really good tackle to shut that down, but then the South African guys concede a breakdown penalty. And I missed it, but for the commentary said that Villy must have said something to the ref because they seemed to get marched 10 metres, which put it within goal kicking distance, so Finn Russell knocked it over. So it's 3 points to 0 to Scotland, despite pretty much being on the back foot for the entire first 15 minutes. So yeah, it was a tough one for the Springbok fans at that point. But yeah, Scotland, sometimes it's that way. If you can hold on long enough, you can take your points when you do get your chance. That being said, South Africa did switch tack on about 20-something minutes. They kicked their first penalty to make it 3 points apiece. I was a little bit disappointed they took the 3 because Scotland had just been warned, because they'd conceded a lot of penalties. They'd just been warned by the ref to stop conceding penalties because otherwise they're going to get yellow carded. And it's one of those ones where I feel like subconsciously, if you take the 3, you kind of reduce the warning level down a bit. I mean, that's one of those ones that people, I guess you can talk about, you can debate, you can call it that it needs amending. There's not really a hard and fast law about, it's at the referee's discretion, right, about when the warning expires or when it's still relevant. But I feel like if you opt for the 3, instead of turning the screws, you give the ref a reason to kind of lower the relevance of the warning, if you know what I mean. Like if you opt for the line out there and they concede any penalty, I feel like it's going to be a card. But they opt for the 3, and yeah, there's no yellow card in this game, which I'm happy to have 15 on 15. I prefer that. But yeah, it was just a kind of interesting tactical thing that after having gone for touch so many times, when they got the yellow card warning, they did opt for 3. But that being said, they were behind, so maybe it's just like let's get back to even terms and then decide what's going to happen. I thought the box kicking game was probably going Scotland's way. They didn't have as much ball, but I think Price was certainly outplaying Herschel at that game. The kicks were a bit more effective. But that being said, the first try was to the Springboks. And interestingly, it was Mapimpi's try, it wasn't really from like that consistent pressure, grinding, like 14, like they'd gone like 14 phases earlier in the game. It wasn't that kind of thing. It was loose ball. I think, grabbed it, chucked it to Villy. Villy was like, oh man, space out wide, gets it to Damon Delende, who did a good job to pick it up because it wasn't a pass straight to the breadbasket. He kind of no-look passed it to Kolisi. Kolisi gets it to Mapimpi, and Mapimpi, man, if you give that guy a sniff, he's just going to run riot, and sure enough, he does. So he goes over, they miss the conversion, but South Africa back in the lead looking a bit more comfortable at 8 points to 3. But Scotland hit back not long later, like 5 minutes later, Hogg. And that one was another case of the South African guys, I think, being a little bit slow at the back of that ruck. Herschel, I mean, I like Herschel, but he got subbed at half-time, and I think for a reason, man. just a bit slow at the back of that ruck, eh? I mean, it wasn't just him, because he got caught at the back of a ruck, and then Villy got caught at the back of a ruck. So it was a bit messy. And then you end up with Finn Russell doing a cross kick one way, a cross kick another way, and like they're just trying to change the point of attack, and eventually it leads to some kind of pretty slick Harlem Globetrotter style passing stuff out on the left wing. Duan van der Merwe is involved, Chris Harris is involved, and then Hogg's the guy that finished it. They had to check the passes to make sure they weren't forward. I thought one of them, first angle, kind of looked forward, but when they showed the overhead shot, like, it looked fine, it's flat. So, yeah, it was a bit of a magic try, to be fair. Like, the offloads and stuff, the cross kicks was just magic in the build. Like, a really fun try to watch. Scotland go in front, 10 points to 8. So, yeah, absolutely game on at that point. Who was it? It was Eben. Eben got a tough penalty conceded on him for at the breakdown when he was going over the ball, and the ref said you're leading on the ground and then trying to scoop it back, and I was like, that's a bit tough. And then the Springboks brought on their bomb squad guys right before halftime because Scotland had a chance to attack from that penalty. I guess that was a good kind of way for Jacques to try and stop the momentum. And then the Springboks conceded another penalty. It's one of the bomb squad guys, Vincent Koch, for not rolling away. And I don't like to harp on about refereeing stuff that much. And maybe some of the South African fans who in recent times keep telling me they get the short end of the stick have been brainwashing me or influencing me. I don't know. But then Vincent Koch got pinged for not rolling away. And I don't know if I've seen a prop ever roll away as quick as I saw him roll away. It was pretty quick. But he still got pinged for it. So Scotland get a chance to put a penalty over before half-time, but it's missed. So you go into the sheds with the score 10 points to 8. But yeah, a couple of harsh ones from Angus Gardner. Second half, and as I mentioned, Reinach comes on. I think that's probably a good thing. As I said, I don't think Herschel's bad. I love little Herschel. He scored some pretty zippy tries at good moments for South Africa in the past, but yeah, it was just getting caught a few too many times in that first half. One of his box kicks went out on the full. Everyone has a bad day at the office sometimes. Maybe you guys will disagree. Maybe you thought he had a decent one, but just on my one viewing of the game, thought that it was maybe a fair call from the coaching staff to give us a change of scenery for that. But yeah, whatever they did, it seemed to work second half. So they've got to try to go back in the lead pretty smartly. That one, like, Creel didn't have a lot of chances in this game, like ball in hand, did he? But I thought he was really good on the kick chase and made a couple of try-saving tackles. At times, maybe not a try-saver on Duan, but at least shut down a move. So, yeah, that one was from Creel pursuing a kick. And Scotland still managed to regather it, but they were uncomfortable due to Jesse's kind of pressure on the ball. And then Kwaka manages to get a turnover. And from there, they spin it out to the left wing. It goes from Elton to David Delende, who's again involved, and then he gets it to Mapimpi. It's a great final ball, and yeah, Mapimpi just goes over it. It's a try, again, not one from grinding pressure, but just from turnover ball, from a kick essentially. So yeah, great try to find that space, man. And it's 15 points to 10 after the conversion goes over, but the conversion was bizarre. Like, when you think you've seen it all, you still get new stuff. Elton kicks the conversion. The ref goes, wait a minute, I'm still checking something with my TMO. He checks it and he gets the all clear and he goes, oh, well, you already kicked it, so let's just play on. He doesn't make him take it again. What if he'd missed it? Would he have said, well, you already had your chance and you missed it? I don't know. Elton kicked it before he got the all clear and the ref was just like, bugger it, let's just go on. So I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. But there you go. See something new all the time. 50 minutes, there's a Scotland high tackle on Elton Yankees. That one is Richie with a bit of a seatbelt. South Africa up for a 3, so it's 18 points to 10. They've got that kind of beyond 7-point lead, which is starting to look comfortable. Another breakdown penalty, another South African penalty. They kick it, so it's 21-10. Starting to look a bit ominous. But gives away a very similar one to Richie with the old seatbelt tackle. I think it was on Price. And Scotland were like, we're not taking threes because, I mean, the game is 21-10. You need tries. And I wrote they need to score before they did it. And they did it, man. It was a Hogg try again because he got a double on 58 minutes. And it was a maul I felt it weird. They went for the maul initially. It got stopped pretty much straight away, but they managed to spin it wide from that maul, eh? And it's Duhan. He's quite able to find space for a guy outside him, isn't he? Because when they spin it, I think it's LaRue kind of has to shoot up to shut the play down, and then Duhan's just able to get that ball away with the space for the man outside him because he's drawn in 2 tacklers. It's just kind of simple as that. Big, quick man is quite able to do that. So it's a proper bit of magic try. Like, this game's had some bloody good tries in it. There's only 4 of them. I mean, I say only 4. 4 is pretty solid. And they were all kind of quality stuff. So, yeah, really good try. And it's 21 points to 15. So that's game on. That's game on. And then that gives the Scottish guys a bit of momentum. They kick it long. Pollard gets caught under a heap of pressure. He concede a penalty. And then it's like, man, Scotland are going for the line-out again. If they score here, no, don't win the line-out. So the momentum just stopped there. So it's a bit of a brutal one for them. Like, momentum can be hard to build up and it can be easy to lose. So yeah, they lost it. Pollard had a chance to put it beyond 7 with a penalty kick, but he missed his first one pretty badly. But then nailed his next one to make it 24-15. That was Kitsoff winning one at the breakdown. And then Marks won one at the breakdown when Price was like, look at him. And the ref was like, yep, there you go, he's won a penalty. So that was Franz Stein with a big old cannon boot of his to make it 27-15. And then and by the death, the Scottish guys are just having to pass it from their own half. And yeah, loose ball, they knock it on, scrum, Springbok penalty, kick, and it's 30 points to 15. So, yeah, man, like I mentioned, it was a pretty good game. Certainly had some pretty good moments, I thought. Some good tries, some magic, which is what you want to see when you get up in the morning. Watch some rugby. I mean, the stats, more possession, Springboks 57%, more territory 51%, but that's pretty marginal. Run meters 266 to 213, so that's kind of close. The Scottish guys actually having a wee bit more. Clean breaks 3 to 2 is pretty low. Scotland having one more, but I think one of those clean breaks was Mapimpi, the other one was Delendy. So yeah, there you go. Kind of key men in those build up to those tries. Defenders beaten 20 to 17 to South Africa, so pretty tight. But offloads 11 to 4 to Scotland, so they were chucking it round. You have to sometimes to break down that block defence, but also that leads to turnovers conceded 14 to 8. So if you chuck it around, sometimes you're going to knock it on. That was the case. Penalty count 15 to 9. So Scotland having a few too many penalties conceded, quite a few of those at the scrum. They have to make a lot more tackles, 120 to the Springboks 67. So yeah, it's just another day at the office, isn't it? For that Springbok forward pack. Individuals, Duan van der Merwe has 68 run meters, 6 defenders beaten and a clean break. Right, which was pretty solid numbers in a game which only had each team 200 odd run meters. But Mapimpi, he has 102 run meters, 1 clean break, and beats 9 defenders. Remember, the Springboks get 20 defenders beaten. Mapimpi's got 9. Like, that dude, is he underrated? I don't think so. Everybody loves Mapimpi, surely. I mean, he even does stuff that's like, you don't even really give it much thought. But like Scotland at one point put a pinpoint kick like a metre outside the Springboks 22, so you can't mark it. Mapimpi catches it. He's got, I think, 2 guys barreling down on him, and neither catches him. He's there, but he only gets like a metre forward, but he's not going backwards. So his guys are able to get in there and they're able to clear it instead of being kind of under pressure. Sometimes when guys get nailed just outside the 22, the other team just floods them, puts them on the back foot, and then they're able to either win a turnover or win a penalty, right? Mapimpi just made it look easy, but it's the kind of stuff that's not. Etzebeth, like, big running, man. Like, at one point he smashed Finn Russell, and Finn Russell's got often so much time on the ball, right? He still gets the pass away, but Eben absolutely smashed him. And Russell just got up, to his credit as well. He's just been hit by an absolute unit of a man, but Russell just another day at the office for him as well. So yeah, I mean, a bit disappointing for Scotland. But it's just that scrum time, I think, that's key. Their line-out sometimes let them down. Goal kicking, they did miss a few goal kicks at the Scots. It might have been a bit more kind of a pressurised situation if you've got a bit more scoreboard pressure on with the kicks. But yeah, I think overall the Springboks were too good. And yeah, you look forward to next week's games. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. Goodness me, almost 15 minutes. Better wrap it up. You guys let me know your thoughts on the game. I think South Africa's got England and Scotland. Yeah, I wrote down that one. Japan. Japan next week. So, yeah, I'm not really able to look too much on social media at the moment because I haven't seen any other games. But I'm about to watch Argentina and Italy and then fill my day with rugby. It's a horrible day here, so it's a good day to be home watching rugby. You guys all take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you again soon. See you later.